how an army plane has crashed in Rajasthan. We are trying to get further details. So far, we understand that the pilot's body was found in the wreckage. Now, what exactly has caused this crash is something that is yet to be determined. But so far, we understand that it was an army plane that has crashed in Rajasthan. Those are the pictures that India Today has accessed of the debris that is now on the ground and of the destruction that it leaves behind, where many of these civilians who just rushed to the spot after the army plane crashed in Rajasthan. What exactly led to that crash? Was it a technical snag? And what is the condition right now as the debris is being cleared? Let me cut across to Devankur, joining us with further details of what this army plane was, where did it crash, how many people were inside it. The pilot's body has been found in the wreckage is what we understand.
Well, clearly at this point in time, the preliminary information that has come in is that a fighter plane of the Indian Air Force has crashed in Balunda area of Churu. The pilot, as per the information, has not been able to survive the crash. This is the preliminary information that has come in so far. The crash, the unfortunate incident, has happened in Churu district of Rajasthan. Further information is expected to arrive soon.
Continue talking to us, Devankur, as we stay with those pictures that have come in from Churu in Rajasthan. And the first video, I believe, that has been taken that puts out the extent of damage and destruction after this plane that crashed. Officials and police team who already left for the crash site as they take control of what is happening on the ground. What more do you know?
Well, absolutely. At this point in time, the information that has reached us is that the fighter jet that has crashed in Churu district of Rajasthan, it happened right now. There is no information of any casualty on any civilian casualty on the ground. But in the unfortunate crash that happened in Churu, as per the information that is available with us so far, the pilot has not been able to survive the crash. This is the preliminary information that is with us right now. One should not speculate on this matter, and also at this point in time, the information that has arrived so far is preliminary. It is kind of not complete at this point in time, and the official information is yet to come in on the matter.
Absolutely, and we wait for an official statement on the very same, while we stay away from any sort of speculation, but just trying to get details from you that you've learned prima facie of what is happening at the spot. This is in Churu in Rajasthan, where an army plane has crashed, is what we understand. The pictures that clearly suggest that the debris and the wreckage that is now being cleared. Locals rush to that spot where the crash happened. Officials and police team also have left for the crash site. This is in Churu in Rajasthan. Devankur, I believe it is Ratangarh and a village close by. Just to understand from you, were residential areas very close? Was this like an open barren ground where the crash has happened? Which base did that plane take off from? And what more are you picking up from your sources of how many were on board in that plane?
Well, as far as the information that has reached us so far, the pilot was there in that plane when the crash happened. He was not able to survive the crash. There is no information of any casualty on the ground. Why the crash happened, what was the reason behind it, all of this is a matter of investigation, and I'm sure that the Indian Air Force will conduct a thorough investigation in the matter. A court of inquiry may be ordered in this
right.
case, but as I mentioned,
in fact, it is a developing story, and I also want to tell all our viewers that we are getting information as we continue to put it out. I'm just being told it was not an army plane. A plane crash that has been reported where the wreckage has been found in Churu in Rajasthan. Now, what sort of a plane it was? Dave, do you have more details on that? All right, not too sure if Devankur is still connected with us, but let's quickly tell all our viewers of what we've learnt. It was a plane crash. It was not an army plane. Now, what was the nature of that plane is something we're still trying to get further details on. So far we can confirm that a plane has crashed in Rajasthan's Churu. This has happened near a village in that area. The video that clearly suggests that the locals immediately rushed to the spot when the plane crashed. So far, it is also confirmed that the pilot's body was found in the wreckage, but we are yet to get details of how many people were actually on board in that plane when it crashed. What was the reason that it crashed? Was it a technical snag or something else that led to that crash? But so far, we understand that the wreckage is now being cleared, and police and other officials who quickly have rushed to the spot as they are trying to take control of what is happening on the ground. There you see, so far we assess that it is barren land where this plane has crashed, and to the depths of what we can see in this particular video, not really visible if it was any sort of a residential area or a village where there were homes and people close by. But one thing also coming to light of how the locals rushed to the spot immediately as the plane crashed. I believe Devankur is back with us and he's joining us live on the broadcast now. Dev, where are you right now? What more are you picking up? Because we understand that the plane crashed. Eyewitnesses say that these are agricultural fields where the plane has crashed. We are trying to determine what sort of a plane it was. Was it a passenger plane or was it a smaller plane? How many people were on board?
As I mentioned earlier, one should not speculate at this point in time, but the initial information is that the plane, the pilot has not been able to survive this crash. I'm right now in Jaipur, but I can tell you that this incident happened in Churu, in Ratangarh area of Churu district of Rajasthan, and the information is that as per now, no casualty of any civilian on the ground has been reported in this matter. And till the time the official information arrives, one should not get into any kind of conjecture on this matter. Official information is still awaited on this matter. The information is that the pilot has not been able to survive the crash.
Completely understand, and we only put out details of what is confirmed so far. I understand that we await other information on what exactly was the size of that plane and why it was flying from this particular area. How many were on board is not confirmed, but like you tell us, Devankur, that no civilian who has been reported dead in this crash. The pilot unfortunately has not been able to survive this crash, and eyewitnesses claim that there was fire in the agricultural fields. So thankfully, the damage was minimized given the fact that this wasn't a residential area. These were open agricultural fields where the plane crashed. Is that right?
Well, as per information, some of the people in the nearby area rushed to the spot when the fire started billowing from the aircraft, and in fact, the information also suggests that body parts were seen strewn around, and that is the preliminary information. That is unconfirmed information. I repeat, this is unconfirmed information. Official information is yet to come in on the matter, why the crash took place and whether anyone has been able to from who was inside the aircraft has been able to survive the crash so far or not is also yet unknown. The pilot unfortunately has not been able to survive the crash as far as the preliminary information is concerned, and any further information can be revealed officially, and once that is done, it would be proper to lay out that information to the viewers of India Today. Thank you.
All right, Devankur getting us those details as we also show you this first video that India Today has been able to access of that crash. Now, you see this video carefully and what it reveals so far. Now, we stay away from any sort of speculation because we are still awaiting details of the kind of plane that it was and how many were on board. But one thing that Devankur has confirmed that no civilian casualties have been reported. Here you see how the person who's recording this video, the wreckage of the plane that has been found. Now, so far, eyewitnesses claim that this was an open agricultural field, and that is very clear because you see vast green stretches of land spreading all throughout for as far as that our eyes can see. Also, you see how so many locals just rush to the spot when they must have realized that the crash has happened, or that loud noise that must have come, and they've rushed to the spot. This is the wreckage of the plane, and slowly as the camera moves, you'll be able to see a big part of the wreckage that has clearly been caught on camera. Now, you see how a lot of these locals are standing close, and this entire area of this agricultural field that is burnt. So that just determines the extent of the damage that had happened after this plane crash. And right here, you see this big patch of ground that is black where the grass is burnt. In fact, you also see that big cloud of smoke right there. So it is hard to determine where exactly was the impact of the crash the most, but the video certainly shows that it could probably be this side, because those stretches of land that are still very green, and this particular area, this particular stretch that you see is where the plane may have crashed. Now, we have confirmed that it is not an army plane, but what sort of a plane was it, how many were on board, is something we are still waiting for details. But this has happened in Churu district in Rajasthan. And this very video from the accident site, for obvious reasons, the person who's recording this video, and it is slightly shaky, but certainly suggests to what happened there. You see the wreckage of the plane in these pictures, the plane that may have completely disintegrated due to the impact of the crash, and also fire that is still visible in parts, as this could have been a video that may have been captured a little after the crash happened, as you see many of those locals who just rushed to the spot, a lot of them living in the nearby village, who may have quickly rushed here. Now, one thing is clear, that this is an open land, because apart from the area where the crash has happened, the other stretches that remain green, but this particular area where the impact may have been the maximum is where you see that the land is completely burnt. Let me also bring in my colleague Shivani Sharma joining us on the broadcast with further details of what this plane was. Shivani, what more are you picking up from your sources? The pilot unfortunately has not been able to survive this crash, but who all were on board?
Swesha, see, it seems to be a service craft and most probably an Indian Air Force craft, but we are still waiting for confirmation from the Indian Air Force on this. And from the wreckage, what we can see and witness, it seems that it was a crash on the field where the pilots must have tried to evade to crash on the areas where people were living. And this was a fighter aircraft. That's what the sources are also indicating. But we'll still be waiting for confirmation, Suesha, on this, because we have to wait for an official word from the Indian Air Force on this. And what the Indian Air Force has been telling us, that they're ascertaining the details, and only then they will be making the news and making the confirmations about this crash that has happened here in Rajasthan. But certainly this seems to be a service aircraft and most probably an Indian Air Force's craft. And what the debris and what the situation on ground seems, that it is quite a severe situation where it can be possible that the pilot was also there, has lost his life. But yes, we are waiting for an official word on this.
Absolutely, Shivani, and I completely understand we are waiting for an official confirmation. But really, to understand what may have happened, if you could also explain to our viewers where the closest airbase was, because we are picking up that it was a Jaguar fighter jet that has crashed in Rajasthan, as per agency reports that have come to light, where the pilot's body was found in the wreckage. So Shivani, I come back to my question. Where is the closest airbase from where this Jaguar may have flown from? And the pilot who was certainly on board, but who else could have been in that craft? How far could this particular area be where the crash has happened? And you're absolutely right, we await further details of whether it was a technical snag or what may have gone wrong. But what more are you picking up on this front?
See, it could be possible. First, we have to identify which aircraft it was, the one which has crashed. Where did it fly from? All this will only be clear. But yes, as we can predict from the vicinity of the place where it has crashed, it seems to be a crash from close to the Rajasthan border, one of the bases that Rajasthan has, which Indian Air Force has along the western border, and most of them are quite active and operational. There could be possibilities that it was in one of those air bases along the western border, Suesha, but still we have to see that what was the situation, what was the reason for this crash, and the standard operating procedure goes that as soon as a crash happens, the details are first ascertained and then a court of inquiry is ordered. The court of inquiry then tries to investigate into the reasons of the crash, and only then it can be told why this crash happened. Was this a technical glitch or some other reason? So we have to wait for all that. But yes, the procedure says that as soon as the crash happens, first the details are ascertained and then the court of inquiry is ordered, and more information can only be divulged once we get an official word from this.
Oh yes, absolutely, Shivani, and we do await that. But so far, agency reports that suggest that it was a Jaguar fighter jet that crashed. Shivani, I quickly want to understand further details because so far information coming in of how the impact of the crash may have been so strong that it turned into a fireball and may have led to casualties immediately. Even in the videos that India Today has accessed of how so many of these locals have rushed to the spot, but it may have been a while after the crash and how its impact may have been.
Certainly, Suesha, this usually takes, when these kind of crashes happen, we usually see that the pilots who are on board, they try to evade the places which are crowded on ground to avoid casualties, of course. And here also it seems that the operational sortie which was going on of this fighter air jet, and now it seems that more defense sources are also quoting that they are indicating that it was a Jaguar fighter that has crashed near Churu in Rajasthan. Further details are of course being ascertained, but yes, this could be a possibility that there can be a technical glitch or some other reasons why this crash happened. And usually when this happens, the pilots on the fighter jets, they try to keep people safe on ground, and that's why you see the wreckage, the debris on ground, which is on a field which is away from any village out there. As we can see, this is an area which is a rural area in Rajasthan, in Churu, Suesha. So it is very important to understand what was the situation when this crash happened, what was the kind of glitch that took place, or there was some other reason for this particular crash. So we usually wait for details that come from the official sources, why this crash happened, what was the maintenance situation of this particular fighter jet, and in what the situation it was flying. Was this an operational sortie or a trainee sortie? So this all has to be ascertained. But yes, certainly the fighter jet, we've seen a number of crashes in past few years where most of the pilots have tried to evade casualties on ground. And here also it seems that the pilot who was flying this particular Jaguar tried to take this away into a place where people keep safe on ground where the debris fall.